This is where it all started. All the hype about that phone brand that started making cars that did what Apple couldn't. The car that Ford CEO was famously driving around Detroit thinking, how can we compete? Well, now that car has just got even better. I'm Toby, and this is the 2026 Xiaomi SU7. Hello and welcome back. So you're probably thinking, what is this guy doing with this car? We've seen this car before, right? Well, unless you don't have access to internet, you will have heard all about this SU7, as well as the Xiaomi U7, which we reviewed previously on the channel. Click the link above if you want to see that. This is the EV that gained world attention for Chinese brands, especially those who are not typically automakers. But this is not that one. This is the new, improved, updated one, and it just got a whole lot better. So for those of you who have been living under a rock for the last few years, here are some of the standout points from the old SU7. First, amazing integration between your vehicle and your smart home. So turn on your rice cooker from your EV. Great to drive, nimble, and if we want, a lot of road feel. Whoever said EVs aren't fun to drive hasn't driven a Xiaomi SU7. And extremely intuitive user experiences. Good practicality, we're talking a massive frunk and a big trunk, almost 500 liters. And a great looking design. Okay, maybe a little copycat, all for a great price. Aimed squarely at those Tesla Model 3 and Tesla Model Y customers looking for an alternative. So how do you make a car that was such a massive sensation even better? There is much better competition than there was a couple years ago. So if you don't improve, you die. Simple as that. We, including Xiaomi, have learned more about batteries, about efficiency, comfort, and most importantly, about safety. And all of those learnings have been put into this vehicle right here. Look, let's not go into it too much. It still looks a lot like a Porsche Taycan. But more importantly, we do get some new colors, some actually very interesting colors. Dimensions are unchanged, but we do get a new wheel design like these ones right here, this new kind of petal design. Let us know what you think of those in the comments. So we still have the big frunk, so 105 liters in there, but having a frunk is not enough. We need to have an electrically opening frunk. Much safer, much more convenient. So electric frunks are definitely the future. Now this is important. We also get updated brakes. Now it's 4-piston calipers, the same setup we have on the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra. Yes, the one with 1,500 horsepower, which either means these are way better than they need to be, or the ones on the Xiaomi SU7 Ultra are not as good as they should be. So while we can choose this rather fetching red racing interior, which I actually really like, we actually do have the option of some serious racing upgrades to make this one track ready, like semi-slick tires, track pads, and even high boiling brake fluid. It's nice we've come to this point where Xiaomi has realized it's not always about more horsepower, it's about quality, not just quantity. So that means you don't have to have a Xiaomi SU7 Ultra to have fun in your EV. So another very important update for Xiaomi comes in the door handles. So as you may or may not know, China has banned electrically popping out door handles from next year. So Xiaomi have gone overboard to make sure you can open this door no matter what the situation is. So the first way we have to open the door is just with a simple pull. There's a button underneath the handle here. If for whatever reason that doesn't work, we have the option of mechanically just pulling this whole unit up here and opening the door like so. And then finally, if you're inside the car, we have the addition of this red, very obvious lever here. So we can pull this one up and that will open the door mechanically. So Xiaomi have made sure you can open this door no matter what. So what is new on the inside? So we have new seats, we have better seats, more premium seats. This one right here is also a zero gravity seat in the top trim. In the center console here, it's kind of looks a bit generic, looks like every other center console. We've got rid of the buttons, and now we have some of these metal accents, so it kind of gives this effect of a more premium look, but like I said, it kind of looks like every other center console on the market. And we also get an 80 watt now wireless charging pad, so that's some serious wireless charging power, which we would expect from what is essentially a phone brand. We have laminated glass now, so quieter journeys, and we get an upgraded audio system on the Max trims as well. Other than that, we still get a lot of the cool things we had in the previous version. We still get the rotating drivers cluster here. We still have this race-orientated steering wheel. This one here is the top trim, so we get carbon fiber mixed with Alcantara. This is very nice to hold while you're driving. So the previous SU7 had a range of up to 830 kilometers on the CLTC cycle. Okay, it's CLTC, but this is still a very impressive range. Well, now they've actually increased this maximum range by over 70 kilometers. That's like an 8% increase. So the long range version of the SU7 has a CLTC range of 902 kilometers. I know I've said this before, but I really think we're getting to a point where range anxiety is not really a thing anymore. In addition, the charging speeds have increased also. So we've moved up from a 400 volt to an 800 volt class system. So the standard and pro trims now operate at 752 volts, while the max version pushes 900 volts. So that's up to 5.2 C charging, 10 to 80% in 12 minutes. Now that is rapid. So in the back of the new SU7, and more or less the same, you know, it's an EV sedan, so we don't have great headroom, and the legs are a little bit high, so my knees are quite bent here, but it's kind of pretty much par for the course. Great for a couple of kids or smaller adults. What's new here then? So now we have two dual sunroofs as opposed to one long piece of glass. So it means we can actually dim these independently if we want to. And I think there's probably also a safety element to it as well. Apart from that, we also have a fridge. Yes, because it wouldn't be an EV from China without a fridge. Of course, this can be used to warm things up as well. So as you may have guessed, the SU7 is still incredibly fun to drive. In fact, last time I drove the new Xpeng P7 and I said it was probably one of the best EV driving experiences. This one, I would probably say, is even better than that. It has all the qualities that that car has, but this car feels a lot more lighter, a lot more nimble. Not convinced? Well, we will be releasing a comparison video putting the P7 and the SU7 head to head very soon, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. We do get a little boost in power, so now the top spec has up to 805 kilowatts, giving this a 0 to 100 acceleration time of a little bit over 3 seconds, which who needs an Ultra if that is your standard acceleration time? But this time they've added a little bit more flexibility, so you can drive the car in exactly the way you want. You can tailor the ride, so we get continuous damping control on the top trims, as well as dual chamber air suspension on the Pro and Max models. This means that if you want more stiffness, it is available. If you want more comfort and less road feel, it is also available. This range has increased, so we have more comfort if we want it and more stiffness if we want it. So this new 2026 Xiaomi SU7 raises so many questions. If Xiaomi can do this in just 2 years, what are they going to do next? Secondly, is this peak EV sedan? We have performance, we have practicality, we have comfort, we have pretty much everything you could ever want. But the most important question is, should they bring this car to global markets, or should they go with the U7? Which one of these would you prefer to see on sale where you are? Make sure you let us know in the comments. Be sure to give us a like and a subscribe. I'll see you next time.